1. And our unit 1 that we started is on friends and families. So I want to play this, and I want you to listen to this. It's called Together is Better.
Together is better. Baseball is no fun at all without a friend to toss the ball. Camping out would be a bore without your brother to hear you snore. Piano notes would sound all wrong without a friend to sing along. Ice cream would not taste as sweet without your sister to share the treat. Cleaning up is hard to do without your dad to help out too. From morning until the day is done, friends and family make things fun.
So this is
By
a
Constance
poem.
Hermes.
This is a poem. And as you notice, a lot of the words rhyme, like all and ball, bore, snore, wrong, along, sweet, treat, do, to, done, and fun. But in the poem, they talked about our big idea, which is how do families and friends learn, grow, and help one another. So this week, we are going to learn how this family helps their friends. Okay? We're going to do our read aloud. It's called Dinner at Alejandro's. Okay? All right. I'm going to play this.
Dinner at Alejandro's. Do you have friends from a different country or culture? Do your friends like the same or different foods, music, or games? Alejandro's family came from Argentina, Tommy's mom said as she dropped them off at Alejandro's house. They speak Spanish and make cooked Spanish foods. Watch and listen. You will learn a lot. I will, Tommy promised. The boys practiced soccer in the backyard until Mrs. Salas called them for dinner. Tommy didn't tell Alejandro that he was worried about eating food that was different than what he ate at home. He thought about the tasty roast beef and mashed potatoes his mom made. He thought about her spaghetti and meatballs too. What would he do if he didn't like the food, he wondered. He did not wish to offend the Salas family. Tommy can sit next to me, Alejandro's grandfather said. He understood that Tommy was as nervous about trying new foods as he was. I live in Argentina, and the United States can be confusing, he said. We will help each other.
So look at these two boys. Which one do you think is Tommy, and which one do you think is Alejandro? Libby, what do you think? This one is Tommy, you think? You're right. And Alejandro. Alejandro. Why do you think this is Alejandro? He looks just like his mom. Good one. And why else, Brooklyn?
Because I can tell by the name.
The name a little bit first?
Because it's like it because I kind of know Spanish and I can tell it's like English, like my name's kind of English and
Yeah.
mostly everyone's name in here is like English.
Right.
Mine.
Yeah, you can kind of tell by the
St.
names.
Louis.
And Alejandro is, you can tell that name is maybe Spanish. And a lot of Spanish people just have darker skin, don't they? Not all of them, but a lot of them do. And just like some of us who are English, some of us have darker skin too. So we can predict though, I like Libby's prediction that this is Alejandro because this is his mom. And Tommy is going to visit Alejandro and his family. Now, why is Tommy, Carson, why is Tommy kind of a little nervous about coming to their house for dinner?
Because he's scared.
Why is he scared or worried or nervous?
Because he's scared. He's not gonna like the food.
He's scared he's not gonna like the food because sometimes different cultures have different kinds of food. Just like our food in America, we live in the United States of America. Our American food is like pizza and cheeseburgers. Sometimes we have tacos, but we have American food. However, if you go to Argentina, you might have some food like Spanish rice and some more Mexican food. If you go to Chinese culture, you're gonna have more of Chinese food. If you go to Italy, you might have some Italian food like spaghetti and lasagna and kind of pastas. So sometimes we don't necessarily like other cultures' food because we haven't tried it, or we're just maybe not sure of it, okay? All right, we're going on to the next page. Oh, Eli.
And your taste buds change.
Yes, that's a good point. Our taste buds do change, especially since we were babies. Sometimes your taste buds, maybe when you're younger, you don't like some kind of food like lettuce, and as you grow older, your taste buds do change and grow to that.
And then you might like
And
it.
then you might like it. Brooklyn.
So I actually, so like I know, and I went to, I'm pretty sure, where Spanish people go, and I know that some Chinese people eat squid.
They do. Kinsley.
I didn't like shrimp, and I did like shrimp. I did it.
So you keep going back and forth.
Yeah.
So maybe it depends on how it's made or prepared. Does that change like how they make it? Like sometimes they put breading on the outside of shrimp, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's cooked, sometimes it's raw. So maybe that's why. But yeah, that can happen. Your taste buds can keep changing. Yeah. Okay, all right, on to the next card. Let's see about their dinner.
Alejandro's abuelo, Alejandro's grandfather, told Tommy, abuelo is the Spanish word for grandfather. Alejandro calls me abuelo, and you can call me abuelo too. As Alejandro's mother placed a plate of salad on the table, his grandfather asked if the boys had fun practicing football. Tommy wanted to tell him that they had practiced soccer, but Alejandro replied, "It was fun. In Argentina, this game is known as football. In the United States, we call it soccer." Football or soccer, as you call it, is the national game of Argentina, Alejandro's grandfather explained as he smiled at Tommy. Tommy was happy to see the salad and a plate of bread on the table. He liked salad and bread. Alejandro's dad moved the bread dish aside to make room for a gigantic bowl of steaming yellow rice, overflowing with shrimp and other vegetables. Tommy watched carefully. "Have you ever eaten this kind of rice?" asked Abuelo. "I like rice, Abuelo, but this rice looks different," said Tommy. Different foods can be delicious. This colorful rice dish is called paella. It has shrimp, a sausage called chorizo, peas, red peppers, and other vegetables in it.
Have you guys ever had a dish like that?
No. Yes.
Maybe something a little similar, but you probably haven't had this dish.
I haven't.
On this card, they talked about a difference in their sports. In America, we call soccer soccer, but in Argentina, they don't call soccer soccer. What do they call it, Raylan?
Football.
Football. So that's another difference, is that our football is not what it is like in Argentina. When they play football in Argentina, they're actually playing soccer. So that's another difference from their culture. Not only do they have a food difference, but now also maybe their sports are a little bit different, and they have different names for them. John?
And football's probably called soccer.
Yeah, I wonder. That's a really good question. John said, well, maybe they call football soccer. I'm not sure what they call
Or
it.
basketball.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Or ball.
Okay, let's go on to the next card. And who is this guy? Do you remember his name? It's a hard one. Kinsley? Do you remember it? Brooklyn, do you remember?
It's like Idrinitas.
No, abuelo, right?
No,
Abuela?
No, go back.
That is Spanish for
No,
grandfather.
it's Oba.
"Like both shrimp and vegetables," Tommy whispered. "I like sausage too." Tommy listened, but it was hard to remember all the new words words he was learning. When it was time to eat, Alejandro's dad served the food. The plates were stacked in front of him. Tommy is our guest, he said, so I will start with him. What will you have, Tommy? Tommy glanced around the table. Everyone was waiting for him to choose the foods he wanted to eat, but he couldn't remember the word for the main dish. What could he do? Abuelo touched his arm gently. Watch me and listen, he whispered. Let us begin with me, Abuelo said. He leaned forward and studied the dishes. I will have some paella, por favor. Por favor means please, Tommy. Tommy listened. Alejandro's dad scooped some paella onto Abuelo's plate. Gracias, Abuelo said. Gracias means thank you. Now I will have some salad, por favor. I'll have a piece of pan, or bread, and a little of that. Abuelo waved his hand over the bread and another dish.
So Tommy is learning some new Spanish words. What did they call the bread? What was the bread called? Besides you guys are always answering. I need some other friends to answer. Carson, what was the bread called?
Oh wait,
You were up here. You were back at the back table working. Who remembers what the bread was called? It was a different name. Brooklyn, I called on you. You already know all the answers. Riley, do you remember what the bread was called?
because I went there.
It was a very different word. It was called a pan. That's what they call bread. It's pan.
Oh, pan.
Pan. And then they were learning some other words like please. What was please? Kinsley?
Gracias.
Nope, that's thank you. So you got thank you. What was please? Ellie, do you think you remember? Por favor. You knew that. I knew you knew that. Okay. All right. So he's learning some more culture, some of their words. So now he's learned some of the food they eat in their culture. He's learned some of the games they play. He's learned some of their words. Now, this is our last card.
Tommy watched and noticed that Abuelo did not point at the food. He moved his whole hand over the food he wanted. And now for our guest, Alejandro's dad said, after he had passed Abuelo his plate. What would you like, Tommy? You can just say, I'll have a little of everything, Abuelo whispered to Tommy. Gracias, but I'd like to try the words, he told Abuelo. I will try a little paella, por favor, and some salad. He waved his hand over the bread dish. And a piece of pan. When everyone's plate was ready, Tommy tried a little of everything. All of it was tasty, but the paella was scrumptious. Gracias, Abuelo, Tommy said. It's fun to try new things and learn new words. De nada, Tommy, Abuelo answered. It's just as much fun teaching them.
So, Tommy learned another new thing about their culture. When he would like some food, he doesn't point. What does he have to do, Wyatt? He might have to say the name. And then there was one more thing he had to do. Does anybody remember? Besides these three girls. Charlotte, do you remember what he has to do if he wants some food? He doesn't point to it. What does he do? He might say the name, but Libby, what does he have to do? Not really grabs, but he puts his hand over it, right, and shows this is what he wants. Yep, and then he might say the name. But when we want our food, normally, like if we go for the lunch at school, we'll say, you know, please, and we might point to it. Or when you're at the dinner table, I know my girls will point and say, beans please, or french fries please. But there, they don't point. They put their hand over it.
That's
Okay? All right, Brooklyn, last thing, and then we're going to move on to our new phonics skill.
I went to there, so I kind of know everything. Because I went there for a couple, I went there for 2
Liz, you need
weeks.
to stop, please.
I'm pretty sure, I went there for 4 weeks.
Okay, Wyatt, last thing.
I know a word in different language.
What word do you know?
It's different.
Carson, shut that up.
Different.
What does that mean? What word? what word, what language that is? Go ahead, Carson.
Tap on it.